All that talk about moral behavior and mindfulness sounds like a complete waste of time. I want my sensual pleasures. I just skip to the nice stuff of meditation and leave out all the boring stuff. Hey guys. When starting a new habit like meditation, one of the most important things to look out for are your priorities. At this stage, tiny decisions can have a major impact on how long you will take to reach mastery. That is a very strategic point in time. And there you can really take a shortcut and save some time by choosing good priorities and a good program, so to speak. And when you have good priorities, fast progress can almost happen automatically. Today we will analyze the priority list of beginner meditators, what you should look out for, what you should focus on to make progress, because some steps you simply cannot leave out if you want to progress at an optimal manner. And for this, I usually like to present the priorities as a pyramid. And the most important item in this case is at the bottom. And when you want to learn to meditate, you have to have initial wisdom and initial learning. You have to have an experience in your life that leads you towards meditation. You simply will not begin meditating when there's no event that got you to it. Something like a very uncomfortable thing that happened in your life, or some anxiety, some depression, something that the Buddha would call a divine messenger event. He simply called it like that because he himself encountered things like that. He was a prince, a very rich person, and at some point he was leaving his very sheltered environment and was encountering sick people, old people and dying people. And that really shook him up. And that was his divine messenger event. Afterwards, he sought for a solution for all the suffering. And then he could start on his spiritual journey and start meditating. People who have not experienced such a thing will simply not be inclined towards meditation. And then, when you had that event happen for you, then you need an initial phase of learning. You need some kind of knowledge foundation. Otherwise, you will be in the dark. You will be blind, and you can't really reinvent the entire discipline of meditation or spirituality on your own again. You are, in a sense, dependent on what other people teach. And that is perfectly fine. That is the same as in any other area of science or school or life, really. We always learn from other people. And we also have to learn meditation from other people. It is very, very simple and very important to have a good knowledge foundation. And this is where you can really save time. Because you have to simply find good priorities, good knowledge, and things like this video can really help you with that. And then you have to choose a method and an approach that is sustainable in the long term, and you can be consistent with the method. Now it comes to the practice part of the meditative, practice. You have to really do it. Because when you think about it, you should focus about 80% of your effort on the doing, maybe 15% or 5% on the reading, and 15% on thinking and pondering about the stuff that you encounter in books, for example, or that you encounter and experience in meditation. And for this to work, and for you not to stop, you have to choose one meditation approach that really works for you, that you can enjoy. When you can't enjoy it, and it feels like torture for you, you won't do it. It is really simple. It is the same in every other hobby. If you really don't enjoy tennis, you will stop playing tennis. If you don't enjoy running, you will stop running. And if you don't enjoy your diet, you will stop dieting. It is super simple, but it is something that people always ignore. They always think about it as a temporary solution. I will just do it for 1 month or things like that, and then my problems will go away. That is not true. Meditation is a life choice. It is a lifestyle, like a diet. A working diet at least, is a lifestyle. Like exercising is a lifestyle. That is something you do forever. And thus, the method you choose should reflect that. You should be consistent with it. Otherwise, you will stop. And for it to be consistent, or for you to be consistent, you have to enjoy it. So make a very good choice in meditation subject so you can stick to it. And then you can focus on other areas like morality and a healthy lifestyle. If you don't live a healthy, pain-free, suffering-free life, then you will have all kinds of problems during meditations that will arise. Same is true for morality. If you treat other people badly and are enraged all the time, road rage, or treat people badly or whatever, those thoughts will arise during meditation, and you will be completely unable to concentrate because those thoughts will completely take over your mind. As humans, we have a negativity bias. All the negative thoughts will self-replicate because negative thoughts are much more important in an evolutionary context than positive thoughts. So you have to get rid of many of the sources for negative thoughts in your life so your meditation can truly benefit. This is a point that I cannot overstate. The moral rules, for example, the 5 precepts in meditation, are a training system that should get you there. They help you avoid all the behaviors that produce negative thoughts. And if you stick to that, like not killing, not stealing, not engaging in sexual misconduct, not lying, then you have a free mind that actually can meditate. But you can only really concentrate when you have sufficient morality and a sufficiently healthy lifestyle, because those things will always come back to haunt you. When you create causes and conditions for negative emotions to arise, they will arise in your meditation too, because in the meditation, the mind gets quiet. And thus, the coping mechanisms that we usually engage in do not work anymore. We stop them, and then all the negative stuff comes to the surface. It is good in a sense, because we can then overcome it for good. But if there is too much at once, it will overwhelm us. And then we simply cannot concentrate and cannot meditate and cannot overcome those things, but get traumatized and will stop altogether. And then we can't benefit from meditation like all the other people. And the morality step is something that usually most people skip. Thus, they experience subpar results in meditation and will stop at some point, deeming that it is not working, it is not for them. But they don't really know that they skipped the most important initial point. And when you skip the morality, there will be no good results. This is so important, and I can't overstate it. And then you want to train yourself in mental and physical enduring. When you sit, for example, in meditation, there's a reason why people say you should sit still, set yourself a timer for like 20 minutes, and then don't move if you can. You want to train yourself to endure mental and physical discomfort and not act upon the urges and impulses you experience. When there's, for example, a physical pain that appears, then you want to endure that pain because it has carryover. It helps you in other areas too. When you can endure a physical pain or an itch or something like that in meditation and not move and act upon it, then you can do that too with other things, because we have no part of the brain that is responsible for exactly enduring a nagging pain or an itch. We have only a part of the brain that is responsible for enduring in general. So if we endure physical discomfort, then we get better at enduring everything. When negative emotions arise, we have a much easier time when we can also endure physical discomforts, and vice versa. For example, physical and mental enduring is equally important. When we can sit in meditation and there are thoughts arising, this is not worth it, meditation is stupid, and you can still sit, even though your mind tells yourself a story how bad and useless meditation is, then you become really good at enduring, because the mental part is even more challenging. And this is, in a sense, part of the moral training. Not acting upon greed, aversion, or delusion. And greed just means strong wanting to do something else, for example, or aversion means wanting to do something else, not wanting to meditate. And delusion are all the kinds of rationalizations we tell us. I really have to do something else right now. I can't meditate. I never have time for meditation. Those are obviously lies. If we really want to, we find time for meditation. It is very, very simple. And this is equally important as moral training, because it is part of the moral training, but it doesn't feel like it. Because people think moral training is giving to charity and all those things. That is not true. The core part, the core aspect of the moral training in Buddhism is not acting upon greed, aversion, and delusion. AKA, when you want to do something, you don't do it. When you want to avoid something, you just sit instead. And when your mind tells yourself stories how stupid meditation is, you still sit. You just endure the stuff the mind throws at you and become better and better at enduring, and then you can concentrate. Because unconcentrated minds are just the result of not being able to not act upon greed, aversion, and delusion. That is quite simple. Concentration means keeping the mind on one object. And when the mind always throws those distractions at you, and you can't resist them because you can't endure them, then you can't concentrate. So as a result, you can become really concentrated because you don't act upon all those negative things anymore. And then we have mindfulness and concentration. Now you can really train those things. When you have fulfilled all the preconditions, you can really start meditating on the breath, for example, because now you don't get lost all the time. Now you can really apply your mind to the breath and become concentrated in the process. At some point, your mind doesn't want to move away from the breath anymore, and there will all kinds of very, very pleasant feelings arising in your mind. And you will become mindful as a result. And the carryover of mindfulness and concentration and enduring is supreme. I know of no other set of qualities with such profound effects. And lastly, there is the part of insight. Insights can happen when your mind is very quiet and all the other faculties of the mind are very well trained. Then insight can happen and you can permanently get rid of your bad emotions, or the bad about the bad emotions. The bad emotions will still remain if you have an insight into suffering, for example, but they won't feel bad anymore. And that is all that matters, really. Okay, and those are the priorities that you should focus on in meditation. And as some of you might know, I am mainly a self-learned person and occasionally use books for learning. And that resulted in me making a lot of mistakes on my own, but also left me with the ability to teach from experience, because I made all those mistakes so you don't have to. I can tell you to avoid it and can tell you what problems might lie ahead, because I experienced most of them. And when I started meditating, I instantly wanted to get to the jhanas and the deep absorption states, but would rarely get there. And if I got there, it wasn't very nice. This is also a very important aspect. The deep absorption states are only very nice if you are a very moral person and don't act upon great aversion and delusion. And it would have been so much faster for me if I stick to a good plan and focused on the moral training first. As soon as I did, the progress in meditation skyrocketed. It was no comparison to before. But let us now come to the most important point. Bad priorities can slow your progress down infinitely. If you focus on the wrong thing, you will make no progress at all in some cases. And a strategic decision, when you begin, has a major impact and are the foundation of your future progress. So you have to be very careful there. Maybe invest a bit more time in learning at the beginning and then really focus on the practice. As mentioned, a good rule of thumb is 80% practicing, 5% reading, and 15% pondering with wisdom, really trying to understand the things that you read. In the beginning, it is 90% reading, but that really, really fast ebbs down, and then you have to focus on the practice. And to make good decisions, you need some frame of reference, and either generalize a lot of knowledge or listen to experienced people. So if you listen to such priority talks like this, you will likely know what to focus on. And in a way, learning the priorities is a bit like meta-learning. You will learn how to properly and efficiently learn new things. Okay, and this is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy this style of video, leave me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. And until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.